Welcome to Fun Parley Podcast, where we are unpacking opinions and changing destinations. I am your host, Shirley Altador, where each week we will chat about how to rise strong out of all types of obstacles that come with relationships. Through personal life experiences and discussions ranging from infidelity, trust, forgiveness, sex, heartbreak, self-love, and so much more. I am passionate and obsessed to provide guidance to every woman to create a better life. Let's dive in, pull up a seat, make sure you're cozy, and get ready to be challenged and encouraged while you learn. With me, your virtual girlfriend. Welcome back to another episode of Fun Parley Podcast. Today we have another guest with us, Neha Sonney. I'm going to pass the mic on to her so she can introduce herself, because today we're going to be talking about how Tantra can help women get in touch with their femininity. Introduce yourself, let people know who you are, what you do.
Thank you so much, first of all, Shirley, for having me on Fempale podcast. And I am a confidence and conscious relationship coach based out of Hong Kong. I identify myself as a self love expert. And I believe that in order to truly realize your dream, be it a relationship, a dream job, or a business you love, you have to first build and envision the best relationship with yourself. And meditation, the work of Deepak Chopra, has impacted my life. 10-year long journey of meditation taught me to deeply listen to myself. And so I share the tools and wisdom in my upcoming book, Wired for Self Love. I broke free of my patterns of attracting toxic relationships. I found the love of my life, and I want and I help singles build the best relationship with themselves so that they can find the most beautiful, loving, and safe relationship that they so deeply desire. I'm also a mother of a teenager. I enjoy hiking, walking, baking, cooking, growing my herbs, and petting Yorkies.
Wonderful. I love it all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So for being a guest on my show, I appreciate that. We appreciate having you, and our listeners are going to soak in all the positive information that you have to offer. Is that the love of your life that I'm looking at in that picture that people cannot see? They'll just hear us talking.
Yes, and that's a vision come true of mine. That's like three things, three
Oh,
dreams in one picture of
oh, that's a
mine.
beautiful picture. You guys can't see it, but it is a beautiful picture I'm looking at behind her.
Thank you.
Great shot, great shot. So we are 12 hours apart. You are in Hong Kong. I
Hmm.
am in New Jersey. And this is what makes, podcasting awesome, because you could do it from anywhere. You can interview anybody. And it's a great virtual experience. It's a great virtual experience. So as we get started, um, let's first talk about what exactly is Tantra for those who don't know. And for even me myself, I have a rough estimate idea, but give me a little more of what exactly is Tantra.
So Tantra is the art of sacred sex, and it is using sex as a tool for evolution in your relationship, be it your relationship with yourself and with then your partner. So being more present while you are engaging in a sexual act with your partner. So as present as you can become. So that is the art or practice of because sex can be very shallow, and for a woman it can be unsatisfying because the man's gets excited and ejaculation happens in 5 minutes or 10, But for a woman, it takes a while for her to warm up, and that's how her body is, and she needs that foreplay. So in order to extend that and to fulfill both parties, both people involved, and have that enjoyable experience, Tantra is a great tool to use. And it's not just something that remains in your bedroom practices. It
Mm-hmm.
kind of um, pa- it kind of permeates your relationship um, on a daily basis. So it starts like it's meditation, how you're being present with yourself. But then when you continue practicing meditation, you're more mindful. It's something like that. And so, how you use your energy and you connect with your partner, um, how you bring your presence, and how present are you to receiving. Um, that's a huge thing where women, like we, let's say, you are being touched, but are you
Mm-hmm.
receiving that touch? For example, you know,
So,
that's how
what
deep
do
it
you
goes.
mean by are you receiving that touch? Let's go into this a little deeper. What does that mean?
Um, when you are being touched, you may not be aware, fully aware of, um, and be fully present. A lot of times, women are up in their heads a lot, and then they
Mm-hmm.
can't be fully present. So, in order to be fully present, it's like, okay, we have a trouble receiving, and we have a trouble receiving love. We have trouble receiving money. We have a trouble asking for help. And like
Mm-hmm.
also when you ask, you want to also receive that. So that's again
Mm-hmm.
there. So putting that into practice. Now let's make it like at a physical level. Like here is this person, the gentleman, like the man in your life,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to, let's say, give you a massage.
Mm-hmm.
But are you fully receiving that? Are you fully present to that? Or are you up in your head about this? And so there is like, I want to love you and I want to have nothing. Let's say I want to give you love and I won't
Mm-hmm.
expect anything in return. That's the thing. But are you happy to receive that? So having like that kind of a mindset where you are okay giving at the time, and then
Mm-hmm.
when it's your turn to receive, you are absolutely okay with receiving as well. So it's like really slowing down. How often does, like, do massages happen before you engage in sex, right?
Not often enough. Either the woman doesn't ask,
Yeah.
or I feel like most women just take whatever is given to them from the man, and they are
Mm-hmm.
scared to truly speak up. And when they do speak up, majority of the time, women are prone for saying, no, not today. I'm on my period. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And, from a man standpoint, I'm not a man, but I can assume that might be exhausting to hear that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're right. Does massages happen before? Because that is a form of foreplay. But is it
Yeah.
happening? No, it's not.
Mm.
Because even if a woman does want it, she won't ask,
Mm.
for
Mm.
God knows what the reason may be.
Mm. Mm. More. Okay, I'm so glad that you brought that up because I have a little bit more to share with
Hmm.
regards to being seen. For
Okay.
example, how okay are you being seen in your absolute vulnerability? And I don't just mean being naked, but being seen emotionally naked and just being held in that space. Just receiving that, like looking into your partner's eyes. Like that act
You,
in itself is so intimate.
I've never thought about being seen not only physically, but emotionally. But, it's interesting because that I never thought about it that way. And this is why I love speaking to people and doing the podcast, because it opens up my eyes and look at things from a different perspective. Because, when you start a relationship, it's young, it's fresh, it's new, and physically you feel like you're at your best emotionally. And as the years go on, for people who stay together longer than 7 or 10 years, after children and as women, our bodies has physically changed. That's
Mm-hmm.
a good question. Are you
Yeah.
comfortable being seen? Not just physically seen, but emotionally seen. And things change. Every
Yeah.
woman on the face of this earth is always on a diet. 90% of us are always on some form of diet. We always think we're too this, we're too that, we're too big, we're this. I have stretch marks. You can't look at me this way. Dim the lights. It's so many, but that's a good point that you make. Are you comfortable being seen emotionally?
Yeah.
Probably for most women, probably not.
Yeah. And even if people are starting off a relationship, it just gets physical, like the physical intimacy. They go into physical intimacy, but then it's the emotional intimacy that is a deeper connection, because when you have that present, that's when sex actually becomes more fulfilling. So,
You're right. You're right. Because when you first start off a relationship, it does get physical quite quick. Without most of the time, people are not comfortable having any conversation pertaining to sex, rather it be what he or she may like or what he or she's favorite position may be. And I'm talking sober. I'm not talking about conversation where you have to be completely drunk or inebriated for you to have a conversation that involves sex, because I feel like even though we call ourselves adults and we're supposed to be mature, a lot of people are not mature enough to have a sexual, healthy conversation sober. They're just
yes.
not. I mean, you don't feel comfortable telling someone, well, I like missionary, or I like, now I just had a brain fart about all the positions. Whatever your position may be, you're not going to tell the
Doggy
person that
style.
you're just doggy style. I like my feet in the air. Yeah, whatever it may be. I like to be like completely over a chair, but people aren't going to talk about that because
Yeah.
I guess you feel dirty on the inside having that conversation, or, oh, it's inappropriate in the first few dates. But just like finances are important, having sexual conversations are important, and we don't do it enough.
Yep.
So much shame is attached to it.
Yep. And which brings me to the point where I remember when I was in my single days. This is maybe about 6 years or so. Um, I started practicing Tantra from reading books itself. Like I've background in yoga and meditation, but then Tantra, I just came across topics and I got interested. So I started practicing on my own. And that's when I realized, like, wow, this is something I have never, it's like taking self pleasure to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And just
Mm-hmm.
and the idea is not to orgasm. And even when you are like having like practicing tantra, the your focus is not the orgasm, because if you are thinking about the orgasm, you're already there in your mind.
Exactly. Yes.
So if you and then it's like it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. It's like because you're up in your head. That's why it's not happening. The moment you
Mm-hmm.
let go and stay present, you don't know the kind of orgasm you're going to expect. It's going to be a fucking whole body orgasm, or I don't know what kind of orgasm, but it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be
Something,
phenomenal.
something like that. But I experienced that like through self pleasure and understanding. And one of my first, like, my own tantric self pleasure orgasm was very healing. I just
Mm-hmm.
stayed present. I was like reading books and actually practicing it on myself and just massaging myself and feeling what it feels like just to be touched with
Yes.
no expectation to bring myself to an orgasm.
But self pleasure is good. And most women won't do self pleasure because a lot of women, I attach it, I feel like they think it's a sin.
Mm.
Where me, self pleasure in my mind, that's how you are going to know yourself. So your partner, so you can educate your partner, so your partner can know what your sensitive parts are and what is more pleasurable for you and what is not pleasurable for you. I wanted to, what's the difference between Tantra and Kama Sutra for our listeners?
Kama Sutra is more just different positions.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
Kama
just
Sutra has
positions.
to do with positions, and Tantra has to do. What is one word you can say that describes
Uh,
Tantra?
just more presence, more conscious
Gotcha.
sex.
Just so
Yeah.
that everyone knows what the difference are. Wonderful. Now,
Mm.
how? Two things. First thing is, what was the key point for made you write your book? Because you introduced yourself and you said you were involved in a lot of toxic relationship. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming everything up until this point is the encouragement for the book. And what is the title of your book?
The title is Wired for Self Love.
Wired for Self Love. And
Yes.
if you don't mind me asking, what were some of the things that happened in your relationship that sparked you to write this book?
Interestingly, I did not even think about writing this book. I mean, I never thought I would be an author this earlier in my life. But
Mm-hmm.
what I realized was I was writing a lot about relationships. I said I have a lot to share about relationships, and I put out my first ebook, and then like 6 months down the line, and that's on my website for people to grab. It's for free.
Okay.
Where I share my story about how I met the love of my life, of course, this person who you can see in the picture
Uh-huh.
that you spoke about earlier on. So yeah, and then 6 months down the line, I found this opportunity to write a book because I was following this author, and he had self-published books of his own, like 17 books of his own. So this
Wow.
opportunity came, and it was in the middle of a pandemic. I'm like, hey, why not? But very interestingly, like it's not something that um happened. I would now that you have posed this question, I think about it in hindsight. Like I have so many things that I had to share with regards to whatever I learned from my past, from being in a toxic relationship since childhood, and how it had impacted me. Where I didn't even know myself, I was completely disconnected from myself. And all that
Mm-hmm.
disconnect led me to saying yes to other people, pleasing them, and not being myself, and not even knowing myself. I was just a daughter, and then a daughter in law, and then a wife and a mother, but I was no one to myself. So,
Exactly.
that's like more than 10 years, 12 years ago. Like, I, for the first time, realized, oh, I have to be an individual before I can be something to somebody else. And then I
Exactly.
was also like, a new mom at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I share all of these my journeys of motherhood and how I changed, what happened that caused me to change, and then I would say motherhood was a start because I became absolutely present to my son, and I said like he doesn't need to go through what I went through. He deserves all the
Gotcha.
love,
Exactly.
but I was empty. How do I fill my own cup? How do I
Exactly.
so that I can love him, right?
True.
So
True.
then that's where the sort of my personal development, meditation, all of that work, everything I could grab, put my hand get my hands on. I started reading. I started practicing meditation. Left the marriage that was not serving me. Yeah, it was it was an unconscious choice. It was an arranged marriage, did not work for me, but that was something that I chose very unconsciously. That's why I see a conscious relationship coach, because you're m- like, they say your marriage, deciding the person you want to marry and spend the rest of your life with, has to be the most conscious decision you're going to make, because that is going to impact your happiness big time. And yeah.
I have a question for you. Oh, you said so being conscious. So arranged marriages, that's something that has been going on, that is still going on. It's definitely not for Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want nothing arranged for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to sleep with anybody if I have not made the decision. So I totally am on the same path with you about conscious. But there are some people that have had arranged marriages. Some have been more successful than others.
Mm-hmm.
So I do know one person that had, well, she had an arranged marriage, but she was also attracted to the person.
Mm.
So I can't use her as an example because her arranged marriage is successful.
Mm.
But do you see arranged marriages as a negative?
Not necessarily. If
I don't see it as a negative, but did you have a choice to say no?
um I was too afraid to speak up for myself
Oh,
when that happened. I was too
oh,
young, and my parent happened to also be narcissistic, so I was completely,
I see.
a
I
pleaser.
see. I
So
see.
I would do every, and I didn't even know what kind of a person she was until much, much, much later. And then I said yes to everything to make her happy and please her, but nothing I would ever do would make her happy. So
Oh,
that was
okay.
that. That was
Okay.
that.
All right. I appreciate that response because it is still going on today
Yeah.
in a lot of countries. It's not something, even now, and me as a mother, I don't want to pick my children's partners.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a choice that they made. It's their life. But no disrespect to anybody out there who has arranged marriages. It's just not for Shirley, and it's not something I want to do. So keep that in mind. No disrespect. But now we're going to move on to the next question. How how are we connecting? How are women through Tantra
Mm.
going to find their femininity if they can't even allow themselves to see themselves naked emotionally, or you and I, as women, are comfortable having conversations about sex, regardless what form of sex it may be. Rather it's vaginal, rather it's anal, oral sex. There are women that cannot comfortably have these conversations, let alone self pleasure. You tell a woman that, oh no, I'm not doing that. You want me to buy a dildo and play with myself? Or no, that's not happening. So, how does a woman connect the two together?
Um, you have to want that. You really, really, really have to want it.
I love it.
And
You have to want it.
yeah, I mean, for someone that was completely disconnected from myself, I wanted to manifest something. And when I discovered Tantra, I said, if I can experience this in a relationship, like complete presence, and like I want my partner to be fully present to me, and I would bring my full presence in my relationship, in my bedroom, everything. Like I would, that would be so beautiful. And they have to experience once what a tantric orgasm can do for them
Mm-hmm.
to want that. And in order to do that, it's like that's like a gateway. Like you self pleasure yourself. I never bought a dildo, like full disclosure. I don't use anything like that. I just use my hands, my body, and that's it. And
Mm-hmm.
you can like maybe that's enough for it. But it's your choice. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bring your full presence to your okay, so the sacred the female genitalia in tantra is called yoni. Okay.
Oh, that's why.
Y-
So that's why they say yoni steam, because in
Yoni.
Tantra it's called yoni. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yoni. So yoni massage, because we store our emotions right there. Like we can have like if you stimulate the breast, you can have a nipple orgasm,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that it's connected. So I'm very sensitive. I can bring myself to through a nipple orgasm. Like I can bring that orgasm through nipples.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Because my breasts are
Oh.
sensitive. I can do that, and it's different for every woman. And well, the that's where the connection starts. Like you store so many emotions, and you never have an outlet for that. Eh,
Is it still Tantra if someone else is giving you the orgasm?
Um, yes.
So if hubby is like, I can't do it, he could do it.
Yeah.
But for me, that doesn't do anything for me. Like if I touch my nipples and I just keep on rubbing them, it's more like a massage for me. It's not going
Mm.
to bring me pleasure. But if he's doing it,
Ah,
then it's a different satisfaction for me.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So your own touch doesn't do that for you.
Not for
It's
my nipples now. For my
okay.
yoni, yes.
Okay.
Nipples, no. He needs to
Okay.
assist with the nipples.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's something you have tried and tested, and that's
Yeah.
great. So,
That's why I
uh,
was like, you could do that with just your nipples? I can't achieve that.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't always have to happen, but it does. It can happen. It
Okay.
can be pretty strong, depending.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but yeah. So, in order to get in touch with all of those emotions, what you need is your complete presence, and people are afraid of that.
Yes.
Afraid of silence, afraid of being with themselves because of those emotions having coming, like have all of that come up. And because there is
Yes.
not enough training in how to
Mm-hmm.
manage them and how to witness them. It's like let's just not touch it and push it aside altogether, just shove it under the rug, and we're never going to deal with that stuff ever again. Let someone else take care of that.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. That response it is. Let's just put it under the rug. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to do anything. Regardless how I'm feeling, I'm not
Yeah.
touching it. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to walk around
Yeah.
this house upset.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's normally how it is. You're absolutely right. But
Yeah.
what did you say? We store a lot of emotions in there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And I've
Um,
never thought our yoni can store a lot of emotions, but it's true because even me as a woman, there are times where I know I've needed sex. I know I've needed to release.
yeah.
And I don't know why women are scared to admit that or scared to say that, but I'm almost 40. I'm
Mm.
comfortable talking about it. 20 years ago, if you had approached me, I was a little more timid. I
Mm.
wouldn't want to talk about it in public because society has made me feel a lady doesn't talk about those things.
Mm.
Fuck being a lady. Now I talk about whatever I want, when I want, how I want, respectfully and maturely.
Mm-hmm.
You could still talk about sex in a very mature way. But
Yeah.
20 years ago, society made me feel like, you don't do that. Ladies don't talk about that. That's not what ladies talk about. You keep that to yourself. That's personal. But if
Mm.
everything is always personal, how am I going to get educated? How am I going to know what a G spot is?
Yeah.
How am I going to know that if no one wants to talk about it? Someone has to be strong enough to speak about it so I can know, so I can educate myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And it takes courage to
It
actually
does.
to talk about it. And I think when you know yourself
Mm-hmm.
through experiencing and being present with your emotions, you will find that courage, because you will realize, for the women who are listening to this, when you practice being fully present, you will realize you are probably, taking on other people's whatever other people are saying and making it your own when it's not yours to
Mm-hmm.
have or hold. And when you also, what you also understand is how much you have been holding. Now, when I talk about like those orgasms, they are
Mm-hmm.
big, huge releases, and they are very emotional releases. I remember one of my first ones, I was crying for 3 minutes, and it was like a heart, like the sound of thunder, like or a cloud just going "Pah."
Mm-hmm.
I literally heard that, and I cried for 3 minutes nonstop, and I was
What?
probably not even in my body.
Wait, did you understand why you were crying? Were you scared? Now, okay, maybe shit. Maybe I'm not orgasming right when I do my self pleasure. Okay, educate me on this whole crying thing. Is that supposed to happen, girl?
um yes, it's very normal, actually. It's just a
I
huge
guess is it
emotional.
kind of like some women can squirt and some women can't? Is this
Yeah,
what the like every woman doesn't have to cry. It's not
yeah,
like something that should happen. You were
yeah.
crying for 3 minutes though? Did you understand why you were crying? But
uh
were you
I
just
discovered
just
later.
from the satisfaction?
Yeah, it was I think it was a G spot being massaged like for a ridiculous long time, and then it was the first big release that I experienced, and I kept crying. And then I was actually in a relationship at the time, and then this happened, and I was trying to understand what happened.
Oh,
And then I realized it's just a big release. But you can imagine
okay.
from what I had been through, and then what
Mhm.
my body needed was that, and it was like a heart opening. And because and so the is your audience familiar with chakras in the body, the seven
We
chakras?
No, you could definitely talk about that because I'm still educating myself on that.
Okay.
We've had small conversations about it, but
Yeah.
not anything big. So definitely give us more
Okay.
information about the chakras.
Okay, so chakras are energy centers along the center of the body. I mean, it's like you can cut and dissect open a human body, you're not going to find it. They're energy centers. So
Hmm.
we have like seven along the spine, and then there's root. There is sacral. Sacral is for the between the navel and the your pelvis, and then
Okay.
navel chakra. There is heart chakra, throat, third eye, and crown. And we have little chakras and along our meridians and stuff. But this is like these are the main ones. And so when the here's the thing, they're energy centers. Now, emotion. What is emotion? Energy in motion. All right. So emotion. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
energetic blockages become physical ailments in the body. Think about this. Now, women, what problems do they have? Gynecological problems, breast cancer,
Hmm.
liver or heart, or
Hmm.
cholesterol. I don't know what all problems
Hmm.
they have, but a lot of reproductive problems. So you can imagine how many energetic blockages there are, because of which there are physical. If those blockages are not released, then they cause physical ailments in the body. So each chakra governs certain organs in the body.
Hmm.
So, like the heart will take care of the lungs and the heart region, liver maybe, and then the throat chakra for the what's here, the thyroid gland. Yeah,
The thyroid
something.
glands.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, and you can imagine it. Thyroid. A lot of women who do not express themselves have an issue with expressing. A lot of women have thyroid issues,
Thyroid issues. Yep.
right? So you can see, and
Hmm.
then they can have also thyroid issues and like, I don't know, PCOS, multiple problems. But then there is
Yes.
energetic, those are energetic blockages. The moment like you start to take care of all that and release that, you
Hmm.
you're clearing up that energy, those energy chakras. So you can do this by yourself and becoming present. So what I have noticed from giving myself orgasms was like I could feel my like I would have multiple orgasms when upon stimulating myself and self pleasuring, and I would notice each orgasm how intense it became, number one, and from where it's being released. So sometimes I can feel it at the heart, sometimes I feel the energy just explode from the head, and then like I'm
You're
shaking my
more
head. It's yeah.
you're more in tune than I am. I thought I was self-pleasuring myself, and I thought I was with it, but no, I'm definitely not. I need to really educate myself a little more. And I've heard of Tantra, but I
Mm,
never really looked into it or did any study or read about it.
yeah.
But it's interesting because definitely I need to learn more about it. So my self-pleasuring can, I need to up it up a couple notches because sometimes I'll self-pleasure and I get so sensitive and then I
Mm,
stop and then I
mm.
have to start again. I get so sensitive and then I stop and have to start again. Like the sensitivity, it's like, oh,
It's very
I can't take
interesting.
it. So that,
When
yeah.
you, I
But
would like to, I want to clarify because a lot of women may be doing this, and I want to bring it up. If you're,
okay.
is the when you say sensitivity, are you referring to the clitoris?
Yes.
Okay, it is very. I'm like, don't touch. That's what I tell my partner. Do not touch. And it is. It's like it's just a tip, but wait, whoa. If you look at
It's
it,
sensitive.
it's not a tip. It's like the biggest bundle of nerves that it
A
is.
lot of nerves are in that thing.
So, and now I just completely stay away from that.
No.
And I'm telling you this, and I want every woman listening to this, please. You have to experience, a lot of women don't orgasm from just penetrative sex.
Exactly. They do not. You need, with
Hand
me, it's a
job.
lot faster with oral sex. Or not oral
Yes.
sex, but oral pleasure. And
Yes. Yes.
I have to get the oral stuff first. Like, give
Yeah.
me the massages, give me the touches, give me the oral to help me get into that mood. Not because
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to my man. I love the crap out of him, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I need like, it takes more work. I
Yeah.
feel like for women,
Yeah.
if for me, I know what I need.
Yeah.
Oral first, and that's how I get my orgasm first, and then it's vaginal. It
Yeah.
doesn't start off with vaginal at first, and we have to be doggy style is the best for
Mm-hmm.
me to get a doggy style. Or there's another position that we use where I'm on my side, but just laying on my back, it doesn't happen like that. Or my legs, luckily I'm small, so my legs have to be literally completely, I'm almost folded.
Mm.
So
Mm.
flexibility works in my favor, which I love.
Yeah, kind of Kama Sutra positions. That's
I know.
beautiful. So beautiful that you shared. But
Oh, I have no problem because you know why? These are things that how is other women supposed to know if we don't talk about it? We
yeah,
have to talk about this stuff. Not enough women are talking about it because there's always shame attached to it. I'm
yeah.
not going to talk about any sex positions that I'm in. Why not?
I sorry. I wanted to let
No,
you like this
go
thing that
ahead.
you brought up, shame. Where is that? Where does that live? In the body. Think
Yeah.
about it.
Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right. It lives in the body.
It lives
It
in the
lives
body.
in the body.
It lives in your effing yoni. How can you
It
do
does.
that?
It does. And it's awful. But, I have no
Yeah.
shame in talking about it. And
Yeah.
now my girlfriends know, yeah, you want to have a sex conversation? Call Shirley. She'll talk to you about anything, whatever position, whatever you want to do. You have questions. She has no shame. Most women won't do
Yeah.
that. Most women,
Yes.
you ask a woman, when was the last time you have sex? I remember one girl looking at me like, girl, I'm not sharing that with you. Why the fuck not? What
Uh-huh.
what is so sick? We're all out here fucking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, okay, you don't have to share it with me. Whatever shame is attached to that, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And so
yeah.
now, so now the orgasm that I enjoy the most, and it's like the best ones, which I've always wanted, of course, but they're
Let me
the
hear this.
penetrative ones.
We say that again.
Penetrative
Deep
sex.
penetration.
No, deep
Oh,
penetration. So
deep
only through,
penetration.
yeah, yeah, just deep penetration orgasms and like vaginal orgasms.
So you're talking about when the penis is hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hard. Or now,
And
is there a certain position that you like? Rather, you're on top, he's on top,
usually it's yeah, it's missionary and like, but I think my legs are like, I think like yours pretty much folded, but
folded
it's
back.
like really really close, and it's a lot of pressure
Okay.
applied
So we have very similar styles, but I also
to
like
the pelvic region.
reverse
Yeah.
reverse cowgirl will do it for me as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I'm not looking at him. I'm
Yeah.
looking the other way and he's looking at my
Yeah.
back. So if
Yeah.
I'm not in doggy style, reverse
Yeah.
cowgirl also, where I'm in control because
Yeah.
I'm guiding it how I want it to go.
Yeah. You know what you mentioned, and what a lot of women it doesn't, them being in control. Like
They don't,
having.
I know
Yeah.
that, that's a
Yeah.
problem for many women. It
Yeah. It's
and
not
it's
about control
just,
even. It's not
no,
even
it's
about
not.
control. Yeah.
But I know my spots through
Yes.
self pleasure. I know
Yes.
what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of women don't. A lot of women
Yes.
just do not know what arouses them. They either just lay there or they don't, I don't know, girl, because
That.
I just don't know. I remember one conversation, and I say this all the time, and I'll never forget this. This woman, her sex life was so absolutely lame. Whenever she needed to sleep with her husband, she had to take an Ativan. And it got to the point where I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Why are you even sleeping with this guy if you need to be drugged?
Hmm. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
Oh
no is
no.
right. She did finally ended up leaving him, but this was years later. We're talking about 20 plus years later.
Oh.
So, and she's not the only one out there. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of women out there that their sex lives are suck. That's the best way I could describe it. Absolutely suck. They're not enjoying it, probably never had an orgasm,
Mm.
and it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I wanted to say the first answer that you gave me about through Tantra, how does a woman find her femininity, was by finding herself. And
Yeah.
she has to want it. I like how
Yeah.
you also said with the chakras in
Yeah.
motions, you said energy in motion. I like that.
Yeah.
So, once she does find herself, is there like another step? Is
Mm.
there step two?
Um, I like the reflection that you shared. So the feminine part is the we are emotional, we
Mm-hmm.
are about like, and then what is the nature of emotions? They come and they go. Feelings, they come and they go. It's like ebb and flow. That's us,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
if you look at a male body and you look at a female body and them coming together, like it is, and let's say they want to conceive, who is the person doing the receiving of the sperm? It is the woman, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something, the receiving part is something women struggle with a lot.
Yes.
So stepping into that is the next step, to be open to asking, finding that courage to ask a man what they want. Tell exactly what they want. Be so clear in their own vision and stand in their truth, and be like emotionally naked
Mm-hmm.
with their man. It takes it when they're able to do that, that's like, it's the hardest thing. Hardest thing.
I have a
You
question for you. When
Yes.
certain people have
Mhm.
restrictions when it comes to what they will do sexually,
Mhm.
and I don't mean what you're not comfortable with.
Mm.
Um, let me describe it in a way. So, what I'm trying to say is there are many women out there that will not perform oral sex on their partner. They might
Mm.
think it's dirty, they don't want to do it, or
Mhm.
whatever is a whatever shame that is attached to the woman not wanting to do that. I
Mm.
don't know.
Mm.
How do women get over that stump if it's not, you know, we're not talking about traumatic situations. We're not talking about something you're not comfortable with. So let's refrain from thinking that, because we're not saying that, if you tell your partner this sex position is not comfortable, it's not the same as you just saying, no, I'm not doing that. But if that's something your partner enjoys, how do you get over that stump? How do
Mm.
you introduce that in a healthy way?
Introduce.
Rather it's rather it's giving to him or you receiving, because most women, a lot of women, I feel, don't like to perform oral sex on their partner,
Mm.
especially their male partner.
Mm.
They just don't like it.
Mhm. I think, well, personally, it's a great question. Personally, um, I find that when I am very aroused,
Hmm.
don't, uh, I just do it. And
Hmm.
I know my partner enjoys it. And it is
Exactly.
in doing that. It's like it has to come from you, and when it's natural, when you are enjoying it, your partner is also going to enjoy it.
Exactly. Yep.
But at the same time, if that's something they just don't want to do and they're conscious about it, that's not like, okay, this is dirty, I don't want to do it. It's more
Hmm.
and like they know it's not, there is nothing involved, there's nothing dirty about it, it's just what it is and this is how it goes. But then whatever ideas they have in their mind, that they have taken care of,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then they say, I don't get any pleasure out of doing this, whatever. And they are able to talk about it and explain it without any sort of blame, or, making the other person feel bad or negative in any way.
Gotcha.
Explaining themselves, that's important. I mean,
You're good. Yeah, I mean, and you know what? Simple things,
yeah,
which the even though I may look for like, oh, she's going to give this convoluted response, and it's not. It's talking about it because you point out something good. Talk about it. Tell me why you don't like it. Tell
yeah,
me why you don't like doing it, because maybe if he has a better understanding of her why,
yeah,
it
yeah,
will bring some light to the situation and won't be frowned upon so much, and then maybe they can find a different avenue to
yeah.
go. If maybe she just doesn't want to do it because it doesn't bring her pleasure, or
Mm.
maybe there was a traumatic situation that's attached to it as to her why. But you're right. If it's just no without any explanation, then that makes sense. Anybody would question, well, what's behind the no? Why not?
Yeah. And just that, because you brought that up so clearly, I also want the ladies listening to understand what that conversation is going to do for them, like as a couple. What is that conversation
Hmm.
going to do? How much deeper understanding and love there is going to be between the two of you. Like, he understands why you don't like it, but then you also feel heard. Can you imagine what that does for you?
Exactly.
Right? You feel heard, you feel
Exactly. It
understood.
opens up the relationship. Hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And from there, it
Definitely.
can go anywhere. And
Definitely.
maybe you will be more open to doing what and helping and giving pleasure to your husband, partner, whoever.
Things will change. And then there's so
Yeah.
many other options too. Instead of using your mouth, if you don't want to use your mouth, you can look into other things because there are other options out there, other
Yeah.
techniques you can incorporate in the bedroom and
Yeah.
to, replace your mouth if you don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. But once we start talking a little more, then things will start being a little healthier. So we have knowing yourself,
Hmm.
being open to it. The second you said reflecting. Do you have a third?
I think that's
Okay,
huge itself.
gotcha. So
Reflecting
knowing
and
yourself and reflecting, and we
yeah.
gave you guys some good examples
Yeah.
of just different scenarios when
Yeah.
it comes to even something as simple as oral sex that you don't want to do, talking about it, and he or she finding out your why and trying to incorporate other things, and it will make your partner feel good when they know the underlying reason of why you're saying no or why you don't want to do what you want to do. And before we go today, I just wanted you to leave the listeners with a word of advice, the women, when it comes to, I love how you said in the beginning, being comfortable being emotionally naked. If
Mm.
you can give a word of advice to women, especially as women, we always find physical issues with ourselves. And those physical issues are also tied to emotional issues.
Mm.
What is two words of advice, or if you just have one is fine, that you want to offer women when it comes to emotionally being comfortable being emotionally naked? When we first started off, you mentioned that, and I love that because I never even thought about that. Most
Mm.
women are already uncomfortable
Mm.
physically naked, but I've
Mm.
never thought about the emotional.
Mm. Mm. Um, Love that question. And my one word answer is
Hmm.
actually two-word answer is
Okay,
understanding vulnerability.
got it. Understanding
Vulnerability. Yeah.
vulnerability.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah.
Understanding vulnerability. And every woman out there is vulnerable.
Yeah.
We're all vulnerable, emotionally naked. I like that because a lot
Owning
of us are
that.
not comfortable
Yeah.
being
Owning.
emotionally owning it.
Owning your vulnerability.
Something
Owning
as
it.
simple as letting your partner know, can we have sex tonight?
Yeah.
Most women won't say that. Instead, they'll walk around the house with an attitude.
Mm. Mm.
That's
Yeah.
what we're going to do. Walk around the house with an attitude instead of just telling him, can we have sex tonight? I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that.
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
not going to say that. He needs to initiate. I'm not going to initiate shit. He wants this. He needs to come get it. But
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I love this conversation with the education that you've given me about Tantra. And I thought, I was pretty good when it came to my self pleasure. But once you told me you were crying for 3 minutes, okay, maybe I'm not arousing myself the
Well,
right way.
oh, not to make you feel bad about it, but the thing is, like,
No, I
maybe it was,
don't. I
yeah.
need more education, girl, because I don't think I know as much as I thought I did. I need more education. And then you're telling me you don't want your clitoris touched at all. That is touch it all day for me, all
Mm.
day. So, but that's not wrong, right? In the Tantra world?
Nothing is
No?
wrong. You're
Okay.
just
Okay,
discovering
good.
yourself, and different women orgasm differently. Well,
Well, true.
women are
Very true.
orgasmic beings, like everything. You can just kiss anywhere, and we're just all so
I
charged
know.
up, right? So,
But I feel like if it's the right person touching you,
touch
my
in the
partner
right
right now,
way.
touching the right way, the right person, all that has to connect because
Yeah.
I'm not going to be happy with any man just putting their little grimy little fingers on me.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess that's a different topic because we just to go off course, I had brought up a topic about sex workers. Something I could never do because I just look at some people and I'm like, you do nothing for me and I don't want to be bothered by you. And how some women are able to just have sex with people with no connection just for, it's the business. It's what they do. Sex workers, this is what they do.
Yeah.
I just can't do that. I don't want you to touch me at all. Like if there's no attraction, don't touch me. Even if it is for money. I don't know. I don't care how much you're charging. Don't touch me. But that's just my off the subject topic. Well, we're going to get ready to end this episode. We all know we love a juicy episode on Femme Parler Podcast when we're talking about sex because we talk about it all here. There's nothing that is ever taboo on this podcast show. So as always, I want to thank you guys for listening to us today. Thank you for being a guest. We appreciate all the knowledge that we have to offer. Before you go, give a little bit of your website information. What is the name of your ebook? How can people find your ebook? And rough estimate of when your book is going to be coming out. By the time this episode posts, your book will be out. Woohoo!
Yay! I'm excited and I'm so grateful for the conversation. Thank you so much, Shirley. And ladies, all the best. Go try it out. Let me know or let Shirley know how it's going.
Definitely.
Yeah,
What's
pleasure,
the name of your ebook?
Pleasure is all yours. My ebook, which is available on my website, Neha Sonney, which is NEHASONNEY.com, is called 7 Principles to Find Your Perfect Partner and Keep Them for Life. So that's available on the website. There is other free resources available at nehasonney.com/free. My book, if you are interested in learning more about self-love, it's you can I think my estimate date is about October.
Okay. Wonderful.
October. I don't have a set date at the moment. So October. And you can subscribe to my book if you want to know when it's going to be coming out. You can go to nehasonney.com/book. So I have a website.
Okay.
I go by this name on Facebook, LinkedIn, and you can also find me on Instagram.
Wonderful. And all her information will be available on the website when this episode does post. Neha, again, thank you for being a guest on the show. And as we end today and always in every episode, love yourself, voice yourself, and be yourself. And to the next episode, guys, have a great one. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in to Femme Parler Podcast. If you want to continue the conversation or share your takeaways, I want to hear from you. Head on over to the website or join our Facebook community and comment your favorite part of the show or share your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Chat with you next week.